Writers, does anybody have an idea for a story?
How about this time travel ad? Guy writes a classified that reads, "Wanted, someone to go back in time with me. This is not a joke. You'll get paid after we get back. Must bring your own weapons. Safety not guaranteed. I've only done this once before." I want to find this guy. You know, see if maybe he believes in this stuff. I don't know. I think it could be funny.
You want to do it?
Can I get a couple of interns? Help me with the research?
Me, too, please. Me.
All right, give me the lesbian and the Indian, and I got a story.
So Safety Not Guaranteed is about a very disillusioned, cynical girl who is at a point in her life where she doesn't really feel like there's much for her in the world. She's got a crappy internship, she's living with her dad, and she is presented with an opportunity to track down a guy who might be crazy, who's written a classified ad that says, "Wanted, someone to travel back in time with me. I've only done this once before. You must bring your own weapons. This is not a joke. Safety's not guaranteed."
Do you sell guns here? Something sexy and affordable with killing power?
Is there a pest problem?
Well, if your ad had been written properly, I may have a better idea of what I need. I hope you worked harder on your calibrations.
My calibrations are flipping pinpoint, okay? You ever face certain death?
If it was so certain, I wouldn't be here, would I?
So could you maybe give me your top 5 time travel movies?
My top 5, I mean, I think, you know, Back to the Future is not just, I think, the best time travel movie, it's just one of the best movies. Well, to me, it's almost a movie about storytelling in a lot of ways, and that the setup and payoffs in that movie are so clean and so perfect and so beautiful. And yet there's little moments of that movie that, you know, the time travel humor in that movie, you know, better get used to these bars, kid. Like, that's just unbelievable. That's just legendary comedy. And it's comedy that relies on a situation that is a sci-fi situation, and yet it's a very human joke. Like, this kid's gonna grow up to be to be in jail. It's just amazing.
Anything you do could have serious repercussions on future events.
Isn't he a dreamboat?
You're my mom.
Are you trying to tell me that my mother has got the hots for me?
As far as time travel, other films that I love, you know, I think Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a great emotional time travel movie. The way that it jumps through time and its storytelling qualifies it as a time travel movie to me.
It's working. I'm a genius.
I think, strangely, Annie Hall is a time travel movie to me. And it's definitely, to me, it's the great time travel romantic comedy. And I don't know if you necessarily have to have the sci-fi idea of time travel as subject matter for it to be that. And I think that because we're watching a relationship out of order and we're seeing how things that happen, you know, essentially in the future are then being juxtaposed against things that happened in the past, and we're seeing cause and effect, the causality, which is such a huge part of time travel. I mean, it's just a brilliant, brilliant movie.
You're like New York Jewish left-wing liberal intellectual, Central Park West, Brandeis University with the socialist summer camps, and the father with the Ben Shahn drawings, right? And the really, you know, strike-oriented kind of... stop me before I make a complete imbecile of myself.
No, that was wonderful. I love being reduced to a cultural stereotype.
Mark Duplass would tell you that Somewhere in Time is his favorite time travel movie. I actually, Time and Again as a book, I thought that's one of my favorite time travel stories. I thought that book was awesome. And Somewhere in Time didn't necessarily, it's really the same thing, but it didn't necessarily capture why that was great.
Is time travel possible?
That is a question. I was there.
I think Donnie Darko is a great one. It's a great time travel movie, and it's also, that movie was the first movie that I felt captured the feeling of what it was like to grow up when I grew up. There's the moment at the beginning of that movie where he's riding his bike down the hill, and it was the first time that I'd seen that or felt that way in a long time, and I guess it was in 2000, 2001, so I was in my early 20s, and it was so distinctive in how it brought me back to that time.
If you could see your path or channel, then you could see into the future, right?
I'm not going to be able to continue this conversation.
Actually, it really made me start to think about my childhood as a specific time in cultural history, which you don't really have that perspective or context until you're older. And it's something I've not only thought a lot about, but it's a big part of this movie. You know, this movie's about a guy who can't really let go of that earlier time in his life, and I think it's kind of an issue for all of us, and I don't know if it's necessarily a bad issue, but I'm sure at IGN, I read this website too, and I think we're a bunch of guys and girls who have not put away our childhood things. It's just awesome to think about how you can do something that's a piece of entertainment, but that thing for a certain group of people, they will hold that with them forever, and they will care about it tremendously, and it's a big responsibility. I'll stop talking now.
You take my hand, and I'll show you who can't time travel.
What's the story about?
I don't know anymore, actually.
It's my hope that if you're watching this video, something incredible has happened.